Well, Sister Chloe, I'm eager to hear your story. Tell me when and how your journey to Islam started.
So really, I think I can trace it right back to the beginning of being a very curious child, and I was brought up around South Manchester in Stockport, and my parents sent me to Catholic school. My mother is Catholic, my father is, I suppose you'd say Protestant really, but doesn't really have faith. So really, I think as a child, I was very, very intrigued about what was the truth of what I was being told, or, you know, was there any truth in the Bible, or when we went to church, what was this wafer that I was being asked to put in my mouth and things like that. And it seemed like there were parts missing, and there were things that I didn't understand. My best friend at the time, growing up, was Muslim, so I understood a lot about Islam from her family, and it didn't seem...
She used to talk to you about it?
Yeah, she used to talk to me about Islam, and I was obviously around there quite a lot for having tea and having food and things like that, and her dad would tell us little things, and her family would come over and I'd see them pray and things like that.
Where were they from?
They were from Libya, yeah, so it was just kind of really part of my upbringing, that like, oh yeah, that was Muslims and that was how Muslims prayed, and, you know, kind of seeing different practices and things like that. So I got older and went to university. I had some Muslim friends there, and I think that's when things really started for me. I started to think, I really want to read the Quran for myself. I want to see what's in there, and I was hanging around with my Muslim friends all the time and thinking that they seemed so happy, and like everything about our friendship was just so wholesome, and we just had such a beautiful time.
So you started reading the translation?
Yeah,
translation of the Quran?
Yeah, I started reading the translation of the Quran. And really, I found a lot of peace and I found a lot of sense in there, but it was something that I kept inside myself. I didn't ever see myself as a person who I thought, well, if I change my life completely, I'd spoken to a lot of reverts and things like that, and I thought, if I change my life completely, then, you know, that's going to affect my whole family. How are my family going to feel, and my friends around me? And I just thought, I didn't really have the confidence, so I kept it inside.
It is a life changer, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And in a way, I suppose, I didn't feel like I was worthy, or feel like I was good enough, or feel like I was complete enough. But there were a lot of messages and a lot of feelings and things that I kept inside, and it always felt like Islam was in my heart, and I've kept that connection.
Did you tell anybody about that?
No,
you just kept it to yourself.
Yeah, I just kept it. I kept it to myself, and I knew that I was really passionate about Islam. I was working afterwards in a jeweller's, and I'd even get I'd have Muslim couples come for wedding rings, and I'd just want them to stay, and I just want to ask them like so many questions, and just talk to them and feel kind of connected with them. So one kind of tragic thing then, sort of later in life, that happened to me is I was in a very abusive relationship, and at one point I almost lost my life. And
Why? What happened?
The man that I was with at the time, he'd got very, very angry one night, and he'd been drinking a lot, and he pinned me to the floor and strangled me. So seconds later, I would have lost my life if it wasn't for a lady police officer that came in just at the right time, and the neighbours across the road had phoned the police. So I think it was that night, alhamdulillah, that I realised somebody was really watching over me, and I knew what I had to do, and I had to follow really what I believed. So subsequently we split up, but I came back to live with my family in Manchester because I've been living away. And that was the time when I picked up my books again. I picked up lots of novels and research, and picked up the Quran again, and thought, this is where it starts now, and I'm going to have to mould myself slowly and bring myself back to Islam. So
So you started searching again?
I started searching again, yeah. It was kind of always in the back of my mind and it never left me, but I knew that I had, shall we say, brushing up to do. And yeah, that was going to take me, you know, that was a personal journey and I had to make sure that was completely right before I told anyone, before I took my shahada. I didn't even know how to go and take my shahada. I didn't know what to do, where to start, who could help me. But yeah, alhamdulillah, I had the right friends around me. I had some special friends who were
Same
Muslim.
friends from school time?
Same friends from school time and some new friends that I'd met along the way as well that said that they always knew that there was something inside me, and I think Islam was, just always in my heart. And
so you phoned them and said what?
I think really a lot of it happened by myself, where I was doing a lot of online research, and then I did speak to one of my friends who said to me, I can't help you, you have to do this completely by yourself. So you have to find your own group, you have to find your own mosque, you have to find everything, because otherwise I don't want to feel like I've influenced you in any way, or if this, is just something that you're kind of feeling temporarily. And at that stage I knew that it wasn't a phase, I knew that this had been with me for... And
this friend was afraid she might be compelling you?
Yes, she wanted to stay neutral in the whole process.
Though usually Muslims are very excited about something like this.
Yeah, definitely. But I think she was excited, but also realised that I had to know what my own reasons were inside and out, and be very prepared for what was going to come. And I think a lot of my born Muslim friends have helped me with that a lot, because they understand the kind of pressure that I'm going to face from like family, or the questions I'm going to face.
Before we talk about family and their response, how long did that process take you? From that night until you took your shahada?
That was about 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that's about 3 years.
Quite some time.
Yeah. And I can
searching, thinking, considering.
Yeah, and it's you don't consciously sometimes know that that's happening, but it's when I look back, I can see the stages, and I can see in hindsight how I was always looking for new information. I was always looking for something that was missing, and that's quite a cliche thing. I think a lot of reverts we all say that, there was something missing, but there definitely was. It wasn't like I was waking up and being grateful for every day, and I knew that I knew the right way to live, I suppose, but it was almost just kind of, when this is complete, I'll be happy. When this is done, I'll be happy. When I've got this new job, I'll be happy. Things are different now. After I took my shahada, it was like, well, now everything that I do is kind of works towards a common goal. It's I feel more at peace with myself, as if my life's worth something.
How long ago did that happen? You're taking the shahada?
My shahada was in July last year. Yeah, so July 2021. And then I did it again when I came to Didsbury Mosque.
But you had already accumulated sufficient knowledge, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. And I think we all do things differently as reverts as well. We find different parts of Islam in different ways. And something that I'd done a lot of research on was I wrote a dissertation about women and femininity in Islam, and I think that was one of the things that had attracted me to the religion as well, was the respect for women and the status that women have in Islam and the equality that women have.
Was that part of a university project?
Yes, it was, yeah. I studied advertising and had a lot of Muslim friends who dressed modestly, who wore hijab, and I wanted to know how they felt in terms of how they could connect with cosmetics advertising or fashion advertising, because we wore the same clothes and the same makeup, but in different ways. So it was interesting for me.
Now, the family.
Yes.
Your mother was Catholic, your father was Protestant, though not that religious.
Yeah.
What was their reaction?
I think because they don't have faith, and they're just very kind of set in their ways and very routine about life. They were quite shocked. To me, I was upset that they were shocked, because I thought to myself, well, have you not listened to everything that I've been talking about, that I've been interested in, and do you not hear me kind of being really passionate about these things?
You were already giving them signs.
I'm giving them signs. I'm saying, I've read this book, and then my Muslim friend says this, and did you know in Islam that this happened? And it's all just gone over their heads, bless them. My mum's too busy thinking about what fish we're going to have for tea that night, or what my nieces and nephews are up to, things like that. And that's fair enough. I think, as I say, it wasn't a completely negative reaction. I think it's more about the fact that they don't really have faith. But as I say, my mum had sent me to a Catholic school, so she knew that there was something. She's got some kind of idea of God, but I think it's quite a touchy subject in our house. It's quite sort of. It was always kind of we don't really have emotional conversations like that. So for me to be quite a cycle breaker and sort of step out and go, no, I want to think about the way I live my life, that was something that was new for them and that was different, yeah.
I think because converting to Islam involves a change of lifestyle. Yeah. This is where people around you usually feel a bit shocked.
Yeah, definitely.
Had it been a religion that did not involve a way of life, probably that would not have been the case.
Yeah, of course. I think because it's such a thoughtful religion that you have Allah in everything that you do, and you have so much mindfulness in everything that you do. I think that gets mistaken for being quite regimented from the outside. So it's difficult, because the only thing that you can do is let people discover themselves and let them watch you and let them see how your faith impacts positively on your life, and that happens over time. So yeah, it's just a process, I think, that unfolds, and you have to sort of let them see you firsthand instead of seeing what they see in the media, or what's walking down the street, or somebody they might have worked with years and years ago that they didn't like, who was a Muslim or whatever, things like that.
So it's been almost a year, right?
Yes.
What is your relationship with them at the moment? Are you on good terms?
Yeah, it's good. I think there are lots of different phases where I think they maybe thought, I put hijab on just before Christmas, and I think that my mum is maybe kind of waiting for the spring and thinking, you'll get too hot and you'll take it off. And she started to realise that this is here now, and that I can do it my own way, and I still look like myself, and I definitely haven't lost any of my personality, and I think they're starting to realise that this is here to stay, there is a way to deal with it, and that it is positive, and hopefully, inshallah, they're starting to understand a little bit more.
Inshallah. Now, what about other family members or acquaintances, friends, if you had any?
Yeah.
Did that affect your relationship with them?
Alhamdulillah for my friends, because even with my non-Muslim friends, I haven't lost any. They've
very good.
I've had the same people around me always, and it's been a little bit exhausting in terms of each one I have to go and have this bit of an explanation where, I might see them for the first time since I've put hijab on, or since I took my shahada, or since I learnt to pray properly, and then it's like a different discussion with each one, or they'll come and I'll say, be honest with me, and that each one of them will have a different question. I think it's just encouraging people just to ask the questions, and then once they've asked me, after that it's okay, and they're fascinated and they learn things, and
but it's good they're asking questions. That's part of da'wah, isn't it?
It is, and then they say, I can definitely see that this was what was meant for you, and this was something you're so passionate about, and we're so glad that you look so happy, and you're absolutely glowing, and it's been great. So friends have been great. I've been So blessed, really.
How about the Muslim community? Did you find the Muslim community welcoming and supportive, or did you have any negative experiences?
I can't say that I've had any negative experiences, really. It's always it's a little bit, you're a little bit apprehensive the first time you come to the mosque. I think, and I only come here, I haven't been to any different mosques as well. But generally, no, alhamdulillah, I've just had great people around me. The only thing that I will say, sometimes I'm unmarried, and there are sometimes brothers who think that maybe I don't know my religion as well as I should, or you know, there are certain things that they could maybe say to me that they wouldn't say to a born Muslim sister. I've experienced that kind of in the world of trying to form relationships, unfortunately. But I think that's, you know, you get those people everywhere, and that's not necessarily always faith related. But it is something that, yeah, I have experienced.
But it's sometimes just people's way of conducting the relationship with others.
Yeah, or sometimes it's just a clumsy thing that comes out, or some people say things in the wrong way. You know, but it's like any decision or choice that you make in life, really. People are curious, or they want to ask you lots of questions. And
any major challenges since you converted to Islam?
I think my work has been quite difficult. Yeah. I'm a sales rep, so part of how I present myself is part of my job, really. So when I put hijab on at work, I felt that there was definitely a reaction in the office which was unspoken. There was a lot of looks, but not a lot of questions, not a lot of openness.
Do they expect you to do a lesser job, or?
I'm really not sure. I'm really not sure.
Why should it matter?
Exactly. Why should it matter? So I called a meeting with a couple of my superiors, and I said to them, does anybody have any questions about me wearing my scarf, wearing a hijab? What is, you know, do we understand it? Do we know why I'm wearing it? So one of my colleagues raised his hand and he said, yeah, why are you wearing it? So I said, well, it's a reminder to me of the community that I belong to, of my values, that I represent Islam, of how my behaviour should look to the outside world, you know, and primarily that's why I'm wearing it. And he said, right, okay. And then I looked at my boss, the director of the company, and he just went, no, I don't have any questions. So I took that kind of scoffing laugh as his question, his reaction, basically, anyway.
Apart from such perception, did you feel that it affected your work in the field, actually?
I feel like it's had quite a positive effect, where people listen to what I say more. You know, I did do one appointment where I'd gone to a jeweller, and afterwards he knew one of my former colleagues, and he phoned my former colleague, the owner of this jeweller's, and he said, I've got to ask you, what's the scarf all about? So my former colleague said, oh, Chloe's a Muslim, she converted to Islam. And he said, oh, right, is that what it is? Right, thank you very much, rightio. I just wanted to know. And I did wonder why.
Because he knew you before, right? Because he knew you before.
No, he didn't know me before. Ah. No, he didn't. And I just wondered why he thought he couldn't ask me. But, you know, fair enough if he felt uncomfortable to kind of present that question. But I definitely feel like it gives me an advantage, and a friend of mine did say that to me. A male friend said, if you walk into any room, you will be the strongest, most well-respected person in that room with hijab on. It's your crown. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to go with that. And I feel like, yeah, you know, if you want to ask me, you can ask me. If you don't, then you don't. And a lot of people, you know, a lot of ladies say to me, oh, love, why are you wearing your scarf? And they don't really understand what it is. But yeah, I do feel like it puts me at ease myself, because I'm walking into rooms now and I'm acting like myself, I'm being my whole self, and that's the first time I've done that in my life in 34 years. So I finally get to be myself, and that's what all my friends around me have noticed as well. So yeah, it's a great feeling.
And I think people's curiosity is a positive thing.
Definitely,
We shouldn't
yeah.
see it as something negative.
Yeah. I think more than anything about religion or about Islam, it's more of like the British way of people like, oh, we don't like to ask questions, or we want to be polite, we don't want to be offensive and things like that. Whereas rather just get things out in the open. I think it's people's mentality of just wanting to be very closed and emotionally stunted about things, which never does anyone any good, really, does it? So, yeah.
Well, Sister Chloe, it's been really a great pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been great.